Hi, this is bed rest coach Darline Turner, owner and founder of Mamas on Bed Rest and Beyond, and welcome to Video Wednesday for this Wednesday, April the 23rd, 2014. Today's topic, sex. Yes, sex after you have a baby. When you can do it, how best to do it, how to make it the best, blah, 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 blah. I want to start with first saying that no, I am not a sex therapist. I am not a social worker. I am not some pregnancy sex guru. But I have been around moms enough to know, and with my physician assistant training, know a little bit of something. And I think I can share a few helpful tips with you today to make your post-baby sex life all that much better and all that much fun. Of course, this came up in our community. This is how I get all my wonderful topics because, this is what's going on with you mamas. And I love it because it makes me think and it really gives me a sense of what's going on with you. So one of the mamas who is now postpartum was, discussing some issues that she was having around sex. And it just made me think, hey, I wonder how many other mamas are having issues, and let's bring them to the forefront and address them. So we're going to, dive right in with the first question being, when can you have sex after you have your baby? Well, back in the day, I think people just did it whenever they felt like doing it. But today, most clinicians ask that you wait until the 6-week postpartum visit. The rationale behind that is, your uterus has had time to shrink back down and move back into the pelvis. Your perineum has had a chance to heal. I mean, if you've had a vaginal birth, your vagina has stretched and pushed this baby out. You may have torn, you may have had an episiotomy, you may have stitches, you just may be plain sore down there. 6 weeks typically will give you time for things to settle somewhat. There are many women it takes even longer, but that's kind of a ballpark figure. If you had a cesarean delivery, you may be tender 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, but by 6 weeks, you can at least maybe find a position that's not quite so tender. So 6 weeks is kind of the overarching time. But I do know women who a couple days after birth had sex. Some women, it was months. So you just really have to go with what your body is telling you and what you can work out with your partner. And one of the things that I think is really important to note is that, and I saw this on a I think it was WebMD or Mayo Clinic, because I was looking at a lot of different sites as I was pulling this together, and they were saying 80% of women have some sort of problem and or change in the quality of their sex after having a baby. I mean, 80%, that's a huge number. That's almost everybody. So I want to first say that to normalize the fact that if sex doesn't feel like it felt before you had the baby, don't stress, because this is completely normal, and you can regain a sense of really good sex with your partner after you have a baby. You just have to kind of keep a few things in mind, and we're going to talk about those right now. So 80% of you may be having some sort of issue, and we're going to talk about it today. First thing, as we said before, you have to account for the fact that there has been a lot of activity, and some of it not necessarily pleasant, going on in your perineum. If you've delivered vaginally, all that stress and stretching and trauma and baby pushing against the muscle tissue, it just might hurt. So you got to go easy. Start slowly, explain to your partner, hey, there's been a lot of action down there that wasn't from you, what have you. I mean, and if your partner was there, they know the deal. So understand that you may be feeling a little tender down there and go easy. The other thing that's very interesting, and you kind of think it's almost counterintuitive, is many women develop vaginal dryness postpartum. And you think, well, gosh, you had amniotic fluid, you had blood, you had lochia, you had all this stuff going on down there. How can it possibly be dry? Well, hormones. Your estrogen levels go down dramatically after you have a baby, and as a result of breastfeeding, your body is shifting, changing. The hormonal shift is ginormous. you've gone from being pregnant, where you had a very high level of hormone, to delivery, which is another shift in your hormones. Now you're postpartum, and if you're nursing, that's a whole different shift where your body is shifting a lot of your hormonal work to your breasts to make milk and milk letdown and what have you. I mean, there is just a whole lot going on, and as a result, the vagina is kind of taking a backseat because it's done its due. And your body's like, okay, you rest, the rest of us are going to do now. And so it's a whole huge hormonal shift. And yes, vaginal dryness is real. It can be an issue, and, you know, it's not going to make for great sex. Along with the whole hormonal shift, we have to talk about postpartum depression. I mean, pregnancy, labor, delivery, childbearing, it is just not for the faint of heart. There is so much that goes on and so much that changes in a woman's physiology. I mean, I can't even begin to state it all in what's going to be probably a 10-15 minute video. But suffice it to say, you know, when you're pregnant and you're nice and you're plump and everybody's, oh, the baby, the baby, the baby, it's so beautiful, you're so beautiful. And, you know, you're just feeling good, you're making this baby, maybe not, you know, you're just great. But then you peak, you deliver, and things really do kind of down, and then they will come back up. But sometimes that coming back up takes a little time. Adding to that, you have a newborn who is up every couple of hours wanting to eat, not sleeping when you want to sleep, and not sleeping for very long at a stretch. Now, you know, babies sleep on average about 18 hours a day, and most parents are like, when? They're sleeping when you're typically awake because they haven't flipped their day-night cycles yet, and they sleep in very short bursts, but all the time. So you're tired, you're sore, your hormones are all over the place, your vagina's dry, and you might be a little depressed. It's not quite the recipe for a wonderful sex life. So, you know, there are some things we need to do, things you need to think about, things you might need to put in place that, you know, you have to work with if you want to restore your sexual intimacy with your partner. Now, you know, I said before, the first thing is you should check in with your provider, because if you had any type of trauma, if you had an episiotomy, or even if you had a tear and you had to have stitches, you want to make sure that area is healed, because the last thing you want to do is introduce pathogens and end up with an infection because it's already sore, and then to add that, oof, not good. So if at all possible, if you've had any type of perineum trauma, do get the okay from your provider. The other thing I want to talk about is birth control. Now, I hear so many women, well, I don't have to worry about birth control because I'm breastfeeding. Not so. If you are a breastfeeder on demand and that baby's breastfeeding like every hour, I mean, it has to be really, really, really aggressive all the time breastfeeding to even kind of approximate being birth control. And I have to say, in American culture, we typically don't breastfeed to that degree to get that kind of hormonal suppression where it's adequate birth control. So if you don't want to end up with a baby, with another baby, being pregnant with another baby, say 9 weeks after you've had the first one, you gotta look at birth control. And, you know, a lot of women are like, oh, I don't want to use condoms, I don't want to use this, I don't want to use it. There are a myriad. I mean, the options now available for birth control are like mind-blowing. It can be as simple as not having sex, which, you know, we're having a talk about sex, so I guess that's not your option. It can be a condom. There is still the handy-dandy diaphragm. I don't know if the cervical cap is still around. I think it might be. But, you know, barrier forms of contraception. There is still the birth control pill. There is still the Depo-Provera shot. There are the Implanon implants, which go in the arm. There is the IUD. There is permanent sterilization. I mean, you name it, they can probably do it for you and have you not get pregnant. There is no reason in this day and age, in 2014, that a woman has to be pregnant if she doesn't want to be. It is merely a matter of her talking with her healthcare provider and getting adequate birth control. Now, yes, some of you may be saying, but I live in a place where that's not possible. Ugh, you don't even want me to start on that. But as much as possible, please speak with your healthcare provider and discuss your birth control options and what's available to you, because truly, I don't think you want to have another baby so close on the heels of having this baby. Lubrication, absolutely. There are some wonderful lubes on the market. There is always the tried and true KY, and then it goes from there. I mean, again, staggering. If you go into any local drugstore, go on the family planning aisle, and it's almost overwhelming. Like, what do I pick? There's so many options. There is a lube for everybody, and if you're not sure, ask your gynecologist, because they often have one they recommend, or that they've heard is good, or what have you. And if there is a sex therapist in your area, call them and say, I need a really good lubricant. I'm having some vaginal dryness. I just gave birth to a baby. And believe me, they know and can hook you up. There is no reason to be dry, to be sore, and to not enjoy, so to speak. The other things that we want to address are kind of, I don't want to say non-specific, but they're the more non-clinical issues. And first and foremost being, be well rested. I mean, if you and your partner really want to have a kind of romantic night together, you might need to find someone to babysit your child for a couple hours so that you can completely focus on each other. I mean, because like I said, babies, they want attention like every hour, every 2 hours, and it's kind of hard to squish stuff in with that. So maybe if you can get someone to watch a baby even for 4 hours, just an evening, 6 to 10, daytime, whatever. But make that time when you two can just be together. Be well rested. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. Again, gear up for it. Plan for it. Get some sleep. Get some help so that you can get some sleep, so you can have some time with your partner. You're going to have to loosen up. Things have changed. I'm, 8 years postpartum, and I'm still kind of like, oh my God, my stomach doesn't look like it used to look. Well, no, I've had 2 children. A lot of women are a little freaked out by the fact that they look different after they have a baby. I think intellectually we know our bodies are going to change, but that reality is sometimes kind of harsh, and we look and we're like, oh my God, who am I? Who is this? Then we shy away. Sometimes our partners shy away because it's like, whoa, you look kind of different than I remember. So there's a whole body issue thing. But I say try and loosen up, and just remember, you just gave birth. You gave life, and this is a wonderful thing. And my experience is, for the most part, most guys don't really care. Some of them will make a comment, but most of them really don't care. So try to loosen up, try to kind of make peace with the fact that you might not look exactly like you used to look, but it's still all good. And do make the experience nice. I mean, if your baby's in the room, or the crib is in the room, or whatever, maybe for that little time, move the crib out, or at least, have someone, if possible, watch the baby so the baby's not in the room with you. That's a little, You might want to change the sheets on your bed, put on a nice nightie, take a shower, because, sometimes that's a premium when you have a newborn, getting a shower. Do your hair even just a little bit. But make it nice, make it an event. And I know so many people think, oh God, that's just one more thing I have to do. Well, yeah, it is. And I'm sorry, but it's an important thing. And if your relationship with your partner, your spouse, is important enough to you to want to maintain it, then maintain yourself as well. And I don't know, I'm sure I'm probably going to get some backlash on this post, but make the effort to kind of not have an old sweatshirt on, an old t-shirt, and, like, oh, well, I was just with the baby. Make the effort to be a little pretty. And I know you can do it, and I know you're tired, and I know, your bottom's sore, your breast is sore, and, there's a lot to work with, but, make the effort to pretty up a little bit. Make the effort to be, cuddly with your partner, and say to him or her, I need you. I need you to cuddle with me. I need you to be affectionate towards me, because sometimes they're kind of like, I don't know if I should talk to her. I don't know. touch her? Can I touch her like this? Can I touch her like that? But so let them know as well kind of where you are, and also listen to how they're feeling, because a lot of partners, especially if they were there at the birth, are kind of like, whoa, I don't know how I feel about you now. It's a normal, natural response, because maybe you went from this sexy babe that they married to now, your mom, you gave birth, they saw you labor, and, not that their perception of you is bad, but they just may be like, wow, wow. So understand there's all kinds of emotion, there's all kinds of perceptions, there's all kinds of preconceived notions, because there are some guys like, now she's a mom, she's off limits. I mean, there is just stuff. Talk to your partner about it. And that may be, the first time or two. You may not even really get to the intercourse part. You may just kiss, you may cuddle, and you may talk about some of this stuff. Just having some time together, like, hey, how you doing? Where there's not a baby screaming, you're not trying to nurse, you're not trying to do these other things around the house, and you're not on bed rest. Think about it. I mean, there has just been so much change in your life. Give yourself time to kind of move into this new role, to this new persona, to this new body, and create something really wonderful with your partner. And, I keep saying, give it the effort, give it the effort. It is so easy as a new mom. You're like, I can't deal with you right now. I got to feed the baby. I can't deal with you now. I got to change the baby. I can't deal with you now. I got to get the baby to sleep. Do not forget your partner. I mean, do not forget your partner. And what can I say? I'm divorced, so maybe you don't want to listen to the divorce lady, but don't forget your partner. And partners, don't forget that she needs some love and affection too from you. She may not be feeling as confident. You need to step in and kind of help with that. It's a twofold thing. You guys, you're a team. You started out as a team. You made this baby together. Let's continue on this road together. So, just some words of advice, just some things to think about, some things to work with. And if you find, much beyond 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, you're still not interested in sex, you're finding you're not interested in your partner, interested in your baby, get checked out for postpartum depression. Do not let that go, because that can have serious negative effects on your health, your baby's health, your partner's health, your family's health. Big, big deal. Get that checked out. So this has been kind of a quick run through on sex after baby. It can be wonderful. You can restore your sex life. It does take a little bit more effort after you have a baby, and I can only encourage you to make that effort. It can be wonderful. It absolutely can, and you can have it. And, just remember, easy on the perineum, easy on the breast, use some lubrication, take some time to make it a special event, really key in with your partner, and just be wonderful. Oh, and birth control, so that you don't have a baby, 9 months from when you had the first one. So I hope this was helpful. It was a quick run through. I mean, this is a topic I could have talked about all day, but we're not going to do that. But, it is something I wanted to bring up because it came up in the community. So I wanted to bring it out to the community at large. And so, yes, sex after baby, it is a reality, and it really can happen, and it can really be good. So that's it for me today. I'm Darline Turner, bed rest coach, owner and founder of Mamas on Bed Rest and Beyond. Have a wonderful Wednesday and really great sex. Woo! Have a good one. Bye.